Welcome to Stub Stories. I'm Sylvia. I'm that friend that gets you into shows, yet you don't know what I do for a living.
And I'm Ricky. I'm the friend that's usually bugging you to come see an artist that you've never heard of.
Today, we are live at Big Night Live Studios right after the big Boston Celtics win. It's an honor to be here.
Our guest today is Timmy Gorham, who is the director of ticketing at Big Night Entertainment, but is also a Celtics season ticket holder, so he was obviously at the game last night, and is the host of our favorite Celtics podcast, Banner Banter Podcast. Timmy, what's up?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Really excited to be here.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
How you feeling today after the big win?
I'm tired. It was a nice after party. But no, good win. 3 more.
What, after party?
Yeah, just...
There's always an app.
Just, what do the kids call it? Bar hopping? Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're old.
Yeah, because we're old. Yeah, we're all...
talking about injuries.
Yeah, our bad backs and... Yeah.
So I guess we'll start at the beginning. How did you get into the industry?
So it was funny. I went to college for radio.
Well, you have a radio voice.
Yeah, thank you. And I had an internship with the Lauren and Wally show.
Oh, man.
On WROR. Yeah, meant from Maine.
Wow.
Yeah. And my internship was ending, and they're like, hey, radio's kind of dying. Sorry, we don't have anything for you. But there's this new concert venue opening up down at Patriot Place called Showcase Live. Would you be interested? Because it was owned by National Amusements.
Oh, yes.
Which owns all the Showcase cinemas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, and they had a marketing deal with them, put in a good word for you. So I applied, and I got hired to be a part-time ticket seller.
Okay.
And the very first show that we ever had was Al Jarreau.
Really?
Yeah, that's really going to just suck people in, right?
Yeah,
That's incredible.
So 1 hour before doors open, my boss comes down with a cardboard box. She got fired.
What?
The general manager came down and was like, hey, do you know anything that's going on? I was like, this is like day 4 for me. So no, not really. He's like, would you be interested in being the box office manager? And I said, I'm like 22 at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, sure. Here I am.
What?
and here you are.
Here I am. Yeah.
Wow.
So just absolute, like, pure luck.
And had you ever worked in a box office in any capacity before that?
Nope.
That's fake.
So we were open for like maybe 2 days for like, because, back then people would still want to come in and buy tickets. I think the only day-to-day venue that's open in the city to buy tickets like face-to-face is the Orpheum. I think right?
Yes.
And so I think I worked 2 shifts at Showcase Live, like being open, but no one really knew about it, so no one came in. So I think I maybe sold like 4 tickets, maybe 5, like total. And they were like, hey, do you want to run this thing? So someone came in from Ticketmaster, taught me what to do. And then 16, 17 years later?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I only went to 1 show there. I saw Dierks Bentley do like a bluegrass show.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know where the venue was. Like I knew it was at Gillette, but I had no clue where. And when we walked in, it was tiny. Like how many people did that was?
So it was really interesting. So they also wanted to make it like a dinner club type of thing too. So we had like some really good like guitar players. I'm blanking on the name, but we would, you could come in and have dinner while the individual's performing, and that was like maybe 500. But then like a fully standing show, I think, was like maybe 900, give or take.
Yeah, I remember it being like really small.
Yeah, I mean there were some great acts there that like, especially country acts that like really like blew up. Like we had Luke Bryan there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dierks Bentley, Eric Church.
Wow.
Really big country, because you think it was like 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
But then
just before they all...
So then when you see him at like selling out Gillette, you're like, talk about full circle.
Yeah.
Right?
That's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, the place closed 4 years after because, I mean, I don't mind bashing them, but like, people selling popcorn can't do concert venues.
That's fair.
And it just, they spent too much money on talent, like to start. Like, they gave JoJo, Foxborough's own JoJo, Get Out Leave, way too much money. Because like thinking about it back then, I was just like, yeah, I'll settle with you. Here's your money. And now thinking about it now, I was like, you paid JoJo that much money? So yeah, it's just very funny in that aspect.
How did you end up at the Live Nation side of things? Because that's where we met.
Yes. So once I saw that Showcase Live was slowly dying when they only had like tribute bands. Like I've seen every tribute band. You name a band, seen the tribute band.
Nice.
And once I saw that for like the entire month, I was like, I need to get out of here. So I reached out to my Ticketmaster rep, and she's like, you can actually come and program for us as what they call an event support specialist, like on the back end for Ticketmaster. So basically, a box office manager can probably do about 80% of the things that Ticketmaster can give them access to. Okay. The other 20% was what I was doing.
Gotcha.
And so I said, okay, I know how a box office works, but now I want to know how Ticketmaster works. Mm-hmm. And then I did that for about 4 years, and then I got bored with it. And then I saw that the box office manager position was open at House of Blues. Mm-hmm. I applied, and they hired me, and that's how we connected.
Was it Andrew from the Wilbur that was that Ticketmaster at the time? And
yes. Yep. Casey McDonald?
Yeah.
I went to the game with her last night.
I always see you post about the Patriots games.
Yeah, so her family has had season tickets since 71 or 70.
Wow.
Her dad, like people used to like, with the big tickets would have like the lanyard.
Yeah.
You'd
still
flip.
Do.
Yeah. Well, they would flip it around, and he had the very first ever Patriots home ticket, and it was like this big.
Wow.
Like in the back, and it was like kind of this little like good luck thing.
That's incredible.
Was it Sullivan Stadium at the time or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I went to House of Blues, and then I went to TDgarden, and I was there for like, I don't know, a year, maybe a year and a half. Really didn't like it that much, and then for this September will be 5 years with Big Night.
Yeah, this is great. I love the Timmy Ticket Tuesdays. I'm like, oh, he's doing his thing.
So we actually used to do the Timmy Ticket Tuesdays at Showcase Live. That's how like it all started. Wow. If anyone's ever bored, you can YouTube Showcase Live Foxborough, and there is some terrible production.
Clay, please.
Yeah.
Find that for video version.
Yeah, no. So we used to do it with like this little like, it was like a GoPro before GoPro, and we didn't even edit it. It was just one take. It was absolutely awful. But now what Big Night does and their creative team, which is absolutely incredible, we can have some fun with it. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the first ticket. And so I think obviously the industry has changed where now it's all digital.
Yeah.
And I mean, what else have you seen change from the time that you started?
I think the thing that I noticed the most is how, like, the creativity from, like, the marketing side and how we can make, like, ticketing work in that way. Like, people are like, why don't we do, like, a buy 5, get 2 free? Like, no one really, like, thinks about that. And you're like, yeah, we can actually make that work. And it's really great that a lot of ticketing companies, especially, like, Ticketmaster, can be creative with the creative people, like on the marketing side. Yep. So I think everyone's openness and willingness to bring people into the room, no matter what it takes, even if they have to lose a couple extra bucks, was something that you wouldn't see like 15, 16 years ago. Because, obviously with the economy today, it's a little crazy, but knowing that venues want to get people into the rooms and are more willing to do that, I think that's really like the biggest change.
Yeah, because I know, obviously Ticketmaster gets a lot of flack for, fees and things like that. But one thing to their credit is some of those fees do go into those marketing programs for the venues.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in action, and it does work. I mean, I learned all about email lists through Ticketmaster back in the day when I was like, oh, it's just emails. Who cares? And they were like, no, this is gold.
This is perfect. But no, like, with Do 617, like, that would have never existed.
Yeah.
15, 16 years ago. But now venues are like, well, we know not 100% of the tickets that were purchased are going to show up.
Yep.
So why don't we just throw out a guest list for 30 people, and maybe those people will come up and everyone's happier, great experience, get free tickets to a show. The venue gets a couple extra bucks if you buy a beer. Artist is happy because the room looks full.
Yep.
So that's what I've noticed the most is the willingness to want people to be in the venue versus like, oh, why didn't you buy a ticket? No, have them come in, and then the next time they see an artist, or if they have a great time, the next time they see an artist that they like, then they'll buy their ticket.
Word of mouth advertising.
Yep,
man.
exactly.
It works every time.
Do you ever see physical tickets coming back? Like with everything that's like old is new again and nostalgia being like such a huge moneymaker, can you see like a physical ticket being a thing that...
So one of the things that, just because I love hard tickets like so much, I refuse for walk-up sales to text someone a ticket. So at Big Night Live, we print out a hard ticket.
That's awesome.
Like, I just think it's so cool. And for someone who's collected so many different types of tickets and like even movie tickets, like
I used to collect my movie tickets.
Yeah.
I don't anymore. I'm not a movie guy,
but so many people when we hand them the ticket, they're like, oh, like, what is this? Yeah, like, what is this? Yeah, can I put this on eBay? Like one of those things. And I just think it's really cool because especially seeing like younger people, like, at Big Night Live, like we'll have like, there's this great girl from Billerica. Her name's Julie. She does this thing called Fangirl Fantasy. Clay, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about her.
They do really well.
Yeah, they do great.
They're crushing it.
Yeah, so when they do like a One Direction night and you hand someone over like a hard ticket, they're like, kind of like Ricky Bobby, like, what do I do with my hands type of thing, right? Like they see it, they're like, where do I go with this? I'm like, just go over there.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Show the guy the door.
Yeah. So, but there are some times like randomly that like I'll get an email from our customer service team and be like, can you mail this person a ticket after the show? I will say yes 1,000% of the time.
That's cool.
What's a 35-cent stamp for?
Yeah.
I mean, the memory is more important than a 35-cent stamp.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. I know I just saw a report that Zach Bryan is doing like stadiums and stuff on his summer tour, and you buy your ticket and it's like a digital ticket, but when you get there, they hand you a physical ticket.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because like all the NFT tickets and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm all set with that.
Well, the commemorative ones that, like, we got one when we went to Vegas for Kylie, but it didn't even. It's nice. It was a Ticketmaster thing. I'm not bashing them.
No.
It was just like it's a commemorative. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
where
Yeah,
you were.
it's just, hey, I was here versus this is actually where I was. Yeah.
That's cool. Do you still collect, like when you go to shows, do you always make sure you...
Oh yeah, because I know the excuses.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So my phone's dead.
That works.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
How are you going to text me a ticket?
Yeah.
The phone's dead. So print one out. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Awesome.
I have a flip
Do you still
phone.
have all your physical tickets?
Yeah, so I have like 2016, 2017, the Celtics, with my season tickets, actually started charging you $50 per ticket if you wanted like the whole bundle printed. I was just like,
ticket?
no, just total for like the whole season.
okay.
I was just like, okay,
Yeah, whatever. Take it.
here's my money. So yeah, I have every single season of so this is year 18 with my season tickets. I have every single Celtics game I've gone to, and I keep the concert tickets too. So
I'm so jealous.
So like my 08 NBA Finals tickets, I have all the tickets. Yeah.
Please feel free to share some of those photos of these tickets with us. We'd love them.
I got to go back to my mother's house because that's where they are. Because the 08 ones, I have like
They're
game,
big, right?
like they're massive.
Yeah.
They're like the size of this water bottle.
Yeah.
And
As it
but
should
like
be.
I have Kevin Garnett signed Game 1,
Oh, nice.
Ray Allen signed Game 2, Paul Pierce Game 6.
Dude.
I have them all signed, so those are in the safe at my mother's house.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like if I ever go homeless, I'm selling those things. Like,
That's the backup.
yeah, that's the backup plan. Yeah, that's gonna get me my podcast too. Yeah,
That's
Great.
That's amazing.
We talked about the events that you've gone to, but from a box office perspective, what are some of the memorable shows, good or bad, that you've had to deal with or be a part of?
So like we a lot of them were at House of Blues because it's just like a great underplay place, right?
Yeah.
Where you can, it's got that Live Nation feel that makes people feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
But Jimmy Buffett
Oh, yes.
at House of Blues
Yep.
was insane. Miley Cyrus
Oh,
at
yeah.
House of Blues.
Yes.
Like I thought she was gonna come in and be like, but she was so nice.
Yep.
Unbelievably kind. Treated it was her rider had like she wanted 9 yellow M&Ms in a bowl.
That's
I lost that.
She didn't eat one of them.
Yeah.
She was just making sure we were reading it.
Yeah, making
Salute to you.
Yep.
Just kind of things like that. One of I think the weirdest show, but for me the most memorable, and I know it's going to sound super weird, was Shaggy and Sting
Yes, I was there.
on the same stage together.
I have a
would have
friend
never thought in a million years that would have been. I don't even I'm not a big like Police guy or Sting guy or Shaggy guy, but I was just like,
Listen,
what are we
Kind of
doing?
made sense.
on paper.
Yeah, like on
Kinda
paper,
makes
it was just like, huh? And then you actually, because
Yeah.
the box office at House of Blues is right next to the stage,
Yep.
so you can hear the whole show. And I was just like, oh, this is actually not that bad,
Yeah.
But funny, Sting, talking about a good memory, Sting, who is, iconic,
Yep.
one of the best to ever do it, knocked on every office door, came in, shook everyone's hand and said, hey, thanks for being here. Wouldn't be done without you. And I was like, I wanted to be like, dude, you're Sting. You don't have to do this.
You have one name.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah.
Like if you were the opener for the show, yes, you're welcome. You know, but like not Sting. But it was he like knocked on the door, and I like looked through the little people following the rules. And I was just like, why is Sting knocking on the door? And I opened it up. And he's like, hey man, how are you? Thanks for being here. And I was just like,
I have to be here.
I was waiting for Ashton Kutcher to be like, you've been punked, you know? But like, you know, it just wasn't a thing. But yeah, just, you know, there's been a lot of like, it's always so fascinating, like working at Big Night Live, how like the DJs just like fly in, they play their set, and they fly out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fascinating. Because, you know, when you work at other, you know, when I worked at TDgarden, you know, I think there's a show there tonight. I think Melanie Martinez is at the Garden tonight.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
You look outside when you drive in, there's 8 trucks, you know, ready to come in. And then these DJs are just like, play and
Got the backpack,
yeah,
get in, and
see you later. And then they crush it,
out.
you know, and it's just, it's so fascinating how every venue, I think that's the coolest part about working in the music industry is like every show is different. You know, you're not working a 9 to 5 where it's just like, sure, I'd love to help you with your insurance, you know, like, but every show is different. Even though it's the same genre, it's different.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like really tough to be like, what are the most memorable? But that Sting and Shaggy's show was on paper.
I got invited by XRV when they.
Oh, yeah.
So actually, it was Dak who was like, "Hey, why don't you come over? There's something happened at the House of Blues today." And I was like, "What?" And I didn't even know what I was walking into. That's typical Dak. And then you walk in, and it's like, "Yeah, why don't you just like go take a picture with Sting and Shaggy?" And I was like, "It doesn't make sense."
Yeah.
And then like you see them, you know, talking to each other. I'm like, "Oh, you guys are friends. Like you hang out. I get it." And then when like Sting's like touching your, I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, it wasn't forced. Like when you first heard it singing Shaggy, I was just like, oh, they're both struggling. You know, like this is forced. No, but it was,
No.
it's like they'd done it like, it was like Shaggy was part of the Police, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Even if they both were struggling, that still would make
Yeah, it's just like of all the options you could have if you're Sting,
like
Shaggy, you know, like,
I love
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Just being around him, you like, you just want to start going into his Shaggy. It's like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say
Yeah,
it.
don't,
Then Tim had to deal with me and Rachel a couple times a year with
oh yeah, I mean,
Murphys
the
and
Dropkick guys.
Bosstones.
Yeah, the Bosstones, the hometown throwdowns, and the Dropkicks.
We just
you know.
invaded his office and take over.
But
and,
but again, like it was different, right? It was, you know,
yeah, it wasn't like
no band's usually coming in with 2 fantastic human beings and be like, we're the captain now, you know, like.
But also, yeah, we're a local band, so what we need is 2 people
In addition,
to give away free tickets for
Yeah.
for 5 nights in a row.
Yeah, so because you know I would always have 2 staff members on, so it was really like there was 5 people in a box office for a Dropkick Murphy show, and you're like, you know what? It's weird, but it works, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the Dropkick shows like when I started working at House of Blues, I wasn't like the biggest Dropkick guy.
Yeah.
But every year, I always text Clay, and I'm like, can I get on the list? It's like a family thing, and
We won you over.
Yeah, no, 1,000%, and that's the great part about music. You know, when you know how you introed the show, I force people to come to shows they want to know about. That was Dropkick Murphys for me because I was like, oh, you know, those songs that you hear at every sporting event. All the people that work for the Dropkicks are the nicest people in the world, and it sucks you in. And now I'm like, now I want to go to a Dropkick show, which I would have never said before I went to House Blues.
Yeah, our goal is to have him play the Sphere, right, Clay? Because Clay won't go to Vegas unless he has to work. And we're like, well, it'd be great to do a drop kick show at the Sphere. Just
I mean,
if Sam wants to play in
Ken always likes the shiny new toy in town.
He
so,
does.
You know, like
I'm sure he's talked about it.
yeah, for sure. He probably wanted to be there before the first ever show. Who was the first show? U2. He was like, we're bigger than U2. We you know, we can get that.
Have they done Big Night Live? Dropkicks?
So they were supposed. So when Big Night
COVID.
Live opened up on Halloween of 2019, we booked them in like December to play the Sunday date of their run, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then obviously Roadrunner got built after that, so Ken went to Roadrunner, and then MGM got built. Ken went to MGM. So we've never had them, and I don't think we'll ever have them.
Really?
I mean, they used to do like, correct me if I'm wrong, they used to do like smaller shows at like Bright Music Hall, like acoustic sets, right?
They did, and we talked about this on our Dropkick episode, but Ken does still want to play every venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In every venue in the city. So
yeah,
possibilities still there.
Yeah, I would.
So this is why this episode exists, is that, come on, Ken, play big.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for listening. Good night.
You play the terminal, with terminal at Logan, you can play it.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything's
Cool.
green.
Yeah, everything's green. It fits right in. And we'll do it before a Celtics game too, and he can go.
Yeah.
It'll be a pre-Celtics concert. We'll get him courtside seats, and we'll go from there.
Have you guys ever done that? I know you've done like after party type shows upstairs.
We've never done pre. So like the crazy part about Big Night is because they own so many different properties. They own 3 nightclubs, 1 concert venue, and then 14 restaurants, 13 restaurants. So that's kind of like, hey, we can get you to a Celtics game. You can come to one of our fine dining places, and then you can perform after.
Yeah.
And so that's like, we had Akon earlier this year. I think it was like February or March. We got him courtside seats. He went to Mystique, which is one of our places, at Encore, and then he did like a 30-minute set at Memoir.
That's cool.
So that's kind of like how we kind of get some people where, some people maybe just like, we don't mind spending the money to have like that 30-minute set.
Yeah.
Because we know, with our bottle service and stuff that we have, that can kind of suck people in, where if you went to House of Blues or Roadrunner and saw Akon do a 30-minute set, you'd be like, refund? But in kind of like some of our nightclub settings, that's what you're going to get. Like, you're not getting a full production with backup dancers behind Akon, right?
Exactly.
So, but that's what makes the industry so cool, that like Akon could do a show at House of Blues, and then you can come to Memoir, and we would have him for a little after party, and you can see him again, but in a more intimate setting. So,
Yeah. Well, even the story of Big Night is a great story.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because Randy was intern for
Yeah,
Friday in the Morning, and I was like, what? Maybe they used to make fun of him, and like, kudos to him for everything. Like, I mean, obviously he's partnered with different people, but that's just the person that, stands out to me, because I used to be a big Man in the Morning.
Yeah. Randy, like the big thing that Randy was always known for is how he tried to escape like the Concord jail and had to run around the Rotary, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like that was like his big thing. And then he got linked up with Ed Kane, and, they opened up Shrine down at Foxwoods, I think 14 or 15 years ago. And then they built this like kind of mini empire, and we have some more venues on the way, hopefully, once politics get out of the way. And
Always in the way.
yeah, so hopefully we open up a couple more venues, and I think that should be it. Because I don't know where else you'd put a concert venue in this town, right? Because there's so many now, which is great. It's kind of like New York. There's so many different options, so many different vibes and feels.
Yep.
So
Yeah. We've talked about different shows and different things, but what's one show that would be a dream show, either to work on or to be a part of?
OutKast,
Yeah.
no questions asked. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a big hip hop head, like old, like 90s hip hop. Like, I don't like this little Uzi insert a name here type of stuff. The mumble rap. But I feel like OutKast is really like never toured, especially around here.
Did you get to go to any of the reunion shows? Like,
No, see, like I wanted to, but it was just, work and other things. But like, that is just one show. Like, I will, whenever I go past, my last words will be like, I never saw OutKast, like that, or worked with OutKast, because I've been to all of my, like, I've seen Tribe Called Quest,
Same.
I've seen so many great hip hop acts that I've always wanted to see, but OutKast, like I've seen Big Boy at Paradise.
Wow.
Great show.
Yep.
But then like Andre 3000 comes out with this like flute album, and I'm like,
he's doing Jazz Fest.
yeah. And I'm like, do I want to go down to Jazz Fest just to see? No, I want to hear Stankonia.
Exactly.
From start to finish, right? Or AT Aliens, like that's what I want. So that would be like the one show. Even if they're like, do you want to work it but you can't listen to it? I'd accept that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the one show. And I tell that people all the time, like, OutKast, next question. Like.
Where did you see Tribe?
I've seen Tribe in a couple different places.
Okay.
I saw Tribe open up for Kanye at MSG when he was doing the Yeezus tour.
Yeah.
And I also saw Tribe at the Palladium
I was at that show.
with Common,
Yes.
right? Wasn't it Common?
I thought, Common played with Q-Tip.
Yep.
Yep.
But Tribe themselves played like 2 years prior to
Yes. Yeah, I went to both of those.
Okay,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, so I went
that Tribe show was one of the best nights of my
Yep.
life. I never thought that would ever happen, and for it to happen, I live in Worcester. For it to happen in
like that type of setting.
was-
Yeah. No, I love Tribe so much. I still listen to them all the time.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, they just get it.
Exactly.
It's just like classic stuff that will never go old.
Did you street team for that? Like, that's how we met. He was my street teamer back in the day.
Don't
That's incredible.
think I because I got in. One of the kids I went to high school with, his older brother was obsessed with Tribe, so he bought tickets and then like got grounded or something. Like something happened where we
Didn't finish his homework on time.
yeah, it was weird because I think that was like 2005 or 6 or something like that.
Yep.
So it was right around when I was like either my senior year of high school or like right after I got out. But we ended up with tickets that way.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
And even like Q-Tip's albums were great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can do no wrong.
Correct.
I love that Fabio was writing down everything, all these tips, all these things.
Little things like,
I'm like, he's like, oh my God, really? I can do that? I'm going to try that.
I'm going to give it a shot
Yeah. It's not weird if it works.
when I go to a show.
Yeah.
There are very few. I don't go to a lot of shows, but when I do, like, I don't know.
He's very picky.
I'm very picky.
No,
Yeah.
I will say I'm also very picky.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, like people are like, hey, are you going to go to the show? I'm like, saw him once. It was fine. I'm good. But if I can get the night off, I'm going to take the night off type of vibe. There are very few acts that I would actually like go out and see now just because like I feel like I've seen it all. You know, fire, confetti, you know,
Right.
All the elements
stage
on
designs, like all the different elements. I've been like, done it before. Be more creative, you know, that type of stuff.
Definitely go to the Sphere.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I want to go to the Sphere so bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of any of the acts that have been there.
Yeah, same.
Like,
but,
would I have gone to YouTube? Yes, but like, I'm not going to Fish.
oh, yeah.
you
or,
know, like-
or the Dead and Company.
Yeah, or the
after,
Dead, yeah.
After the 10 million shows you've had to do ticketing for.
Yeah. Yep.
You know who would be great at the Sphere? OutKast.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Now that
I would call my mom afterwards and just be like, I love you, but I'm leaving this planet. I'm perfectly content. I'm good.
we were talking on our last episode about like who would want to see at the Sphere, and we all had a bunch of different answers. But now that like kind of thinking about OutKast doing it, because our whole criteria was like it needs to be a legendary act. It needs to be somebody who could like really work with the visuals.
Yeah, the image. Yeah, the visual stuff. And OutKast would do that. For me, I think visual-wise, like as of late, just because I went to his last tour at Gillette, and you can see it on HBO now, but The Weeknd.
Oh, yes.
I'm a big Weeknd fan. I actually saw The Weeknd at Royale in 2011.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like right before his second mixtape came out. Like his first mixtape, House of Balloons, just came out, and I was like, who is this guy? He did Royale, and then he did like the Orpheum, and then did House of Blues. Like he was the classic, like start here and do every single venue before you
I actually have I have a little background on that. So Nate Alpert from the Boss Tones,
Yep.
like the original guitar player, and then he played when Lawrence he hurt his arm, so he kind of came back. But he's an A&R guy, and he saw The Weeknd, like classic story. Saw him at a club, like randomly, signed him, and that's how he got his start.
That's
So
incredible.
he's like connected to Boston in a way.
Oh, that makes me like him even more.
Yeah.
It always goes back to
And Nate was,
Murphys.
I mean, Nate's an amazingly talented musician, but also like such a great like A&R development
Yeah,
guy.
talent finder, yeah.
He found The Weeknd. And how cool is that?
And now there's no one who gets more monthly streams on Spotify than
Really?
The Weeknd. He has more than Taylor Swift every month. I'm a like a Weeknd junkie, like because I'm like I found him, like he's mine, you know,
Yeah,
like,
he's mine.
like that, you know, that type of thing. So I feel like everyone has an artist like that like they found that like really blew up.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I found Gaga.
Okay,
No, you did not.
I know what you're. I know what you're.
They
saying.
have to be big.
Do you want to hear my Gaga story?
For sure. By all means, please entertain us.
Listen, I was working with Josh Smith at the time.
yeah.
And he's like, hey, I'm going to book this artist at Great Scott.
Okay.
And I think you'll like her because she sounds like Madonna. And I was like, nah, I don't think I will like this person.
I'm not going to Alston.
I'm not going to Austin. There's no party.
See some wannabe Madonna. Gross.
Madonna cover band. And so he's like, I just made a $500 offer for Great Scott for Lady Gaga. And then Just Dance came out, and then he's like, well, guess what? We are not getting that show. And then she did the full tour. So she bypassed the club, the little tiny club era.
But that's insane.
So-
Great Scott. Now a Taco Bell.
But it was kind of like it was pretty much booked.
It was pretty much booked.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
Josh
was
Smith,
all
he's like,
set.
don't remind me of that. I'm like, I have that offer.
Don't you still have the
hanging.
offer sheet?
Yeah, I have the offer sheet.
I remember you showing that to me
Oh,
once.
that's
For Gaga.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So when Gaga was up in Maine, I could have been, yo, dude, we could have had you for $500.
Yeah, and a
I got
couple
the
of
paperwork.
PBRs.
Get the paperwork. Yeah.
You think I'm lying? Look at this. Like receipt.
That's awesome.
Oh man.
That's so cool.
That's cool. I guess my favorite artist would probably be Kendrick Lamar. He was on this. I didn't sign him, but I don't have an offer sheet. But there was this rapper. Do you know who Swayze is?
Yep.
Yes.
So Swayze's first record, my brother and I loved. Second record was okay. Third record, the like last song or second to last song, Kendrick Lamar's featured on, and it was clearly like they must have had mutual friends, whatever. This was before any of his records came out, and he was on that, and I was like, I don't know what it is,
But
I'm obsessed with this guy.
Yeah.
Love his voice, love everything about him. Didn't hear anything for a couple years, and then now he's Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, and then Section 80 came out.
Yeah, and I was like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
He's a real person.
Yeah. Kendrick's last tour at the Garden was very, very good.
I
He had
so bad.
Baby, who did he win a Grammy with when he was featured on that song like 2 years ago? Baby Cream? Is that the guy's name? The super popular song that won like best rap single?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Making names up.
No, I'm confident it's Baby Cream. If it's wrong or if it's just like
Baby Keem.
yeah, maybe it's Irish Cream. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think but it was a super popular song, and he opened up for him, and that was actually the song that they closed with, and I thought that was so cool for Kendrick to bring out the opening act to close a show,
That's awesome.
because you don't get that with someone at that level.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool, Kendrick.
Gosh. Well, I mean, my question now is, you're at the top of your game. You've done everything. You've done all these shows. You deal with all these egos. When I say there's a lot of egos, good or bad, but
Yes.
you're at a certain level, whether it be the artist, management, even your bosses, because I've had that too. But what is a lesson that you've learned through all these years of doing this that you wouldn't have learned if you weren't in this business?
So I think for me, it's being willing to change on the fly. And I feel like that's so important in this industry, because no one is really ever, I know it's going to sound weird, but no one's really ever satisfied, right? Like not even the artist, not even ownership, the booker, no one's really ever satisfied. So when I first worked at House of Blues, they're like, hey, we need to do this. And I was just like, what? No, screw you. We're not doing this. And now if something isn't changing on an event, I'm like, hey, what are we doing here? What's wrong? What's going on? So I feel like when I was, 22 working at Showcase Live, I was just like, cool, the music industry, this is great. And now it's just like, there's so much that needs to happen, and people need to be when I mentioned working in 9-to-5 insurance, insurance is insurance. You have to fill out this paperwork. That's what it is. But here it's just no, every show's different. Yep. Every show is going to change. And that's what makes the industry great, in my opinion, because it's never boring.
Yeah, ever.
Annoying.
It's not so cookie.
Annoying, but never boring.
Yeah.
But so it's just being willing to change on the fly, because especially in this city, no one likes change.
Yep.
That's fair.
Every single time the seasons change, we're like, what the hell? All this. But you have to accept that it's going to change on a drop of a dime. If it's 9:45 and they want to go on sale at noon instead of 10 a.m., you have to be okay with that. You can't be like, you mother, that's what it is. So that's the biggest thing I've learned, is just willing to change. And it's kind of helped me too, because even in life, if your lease is up on your apartment, hey, it's time to change. Maybe it's time to go to a new place, even though you don't want to. And that's been the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. You have to have people you can vent to so you don't get fired.
Yeah, and that's
You need a Clay.
and that's what I think is the best part about the music industry, is there are all of my friends now are 95% of them are from the music industry, because if you go home and you vent to someone about the music industry, they're like, the hell did you just say to me?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one friend, one drink in front of you,
Yeah.
both of you are venting, you're friends for life.
Exactly.
You know, like,
Yep.
and I think that's what's so great. You know, like Hurley, who's in the back, like him and I have vented about, you know, some big night highs and some big night lows.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could really talk to, you know,
Yep.
some person walking down and be like, hey, do you want to hear about my crappy day? And they'd be like, no, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, this is actually a normal day for me.
Yeah, well, I think Hurley was like, you have a what podcast coming in today? I need to be aware.
Yeah.
F you, dude.
At what time in the morning?
Yeah, what time in the morning? No, so that, you know, like you and I, we met through this, and I, you know, we're friends, and Clay is one of my like favorite people in the world, and Rachel is absolutely incredible, but like, it's because you sit in that box office for like 4 hours together, and you can talk about anything and everything, because there are some slow nights.
Yeah.
The only way you can make it
Yep.
kind of move along is growing and learning how people are, and that can also help you in the work atmosphere too, right? Like, hey, I know this person's in a bad mood.
Positive attitude too, and I think we've all had, you know, like times in our lives where I think maybe when you enter the music business and ticketing or marketing, you kind of are like you said, like you're annoyed. You're like you want to do what?
Yeah.
You want to do what? But was there a certain time when like that switch flipped for you? Was it a particular thing, or was it a slow like, oh, I'm just not going to be annoyed by this. I'm just going to go with the flow. And actually, I see what the goal is here. We're just selling tickets.
Yeah,
like I always keep that in the back of my mind. Like working from small shows to big shows, it's like, oh, we want to sell tickets. We want people to be there. We want this show to be sold out.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So I think the thing that really made it like kind of flip for me was how much people are using dynamic pricing now. You know, where it just used to be advance, day of show.
Yep.
That was it. Now it's first 500 sold are 15, the next 500 are 18, the next 500 are 20. So you actually have to, as a ticketing person, because unfortunately Ticketmaster, unlike every other ticketing website in the world, can flip prices on the fly. Ticketmaster cannot do that. You have to go in manually and change it. So I felt like that made me adjust my work ethic. And that's when I realized I had to be ready to change things on the fly. But so once dynamic pricing came in, that's when I was just like, okay, it's time to change a little bit. It's not just building a show and just letting it be.
Yeah. And another good thing is don't burn bridges. How many times I wanted to burn the whole, not just the bridge, but the whole city?
I will say, like, when I left House of Blues, you know, it's one of my regrets. I don't think I left in the best way. I think I left professionally, but not professionally, you know, like very like lowercase professionally. You know, when you mentioned Deck, you know, Deck and I like bumped heads. But he's a great guy, and I didn't realize that at the time. But now I realize, hey, I didn't handle myself great. I've apologized for it, and I think that, you know, you have to have those learning lessons. Like,
you have to go through all of that.
you can burn the bridge if you're willing to put it back together. Because a lot of people just burn the bridge and just move on. I was willing to be like, might be, and you know, you build or try to build the bridge back up, and you know, you can go from there.
Yeah, because years later, like you bump into people and you're like, oh, you were doing this, but now you're here. You don't know where people are going to end up, or
what they're going to invest in. Because you know, someone like, you know, talking about Deck, someone he's partially invested in Big Night Live.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. So you know, I have to. You'd be like, okay, you know, we're back
I'll bump into somebody and I'll be like, why was I annoyed with you again? I used to really hate you.
I mean, there are some people where I'm like, thank God I burnt that bridge, but you know,
no, but now it's like, oh, hey, like let's hang out.
Yeah.
Like what are you up to now? You know, it's a small town in a way still, you know, but also there's so many opportunities, and now the economy's booming, ticket sales are booming. It's just great to like be like, oh, you're over there. Timmy's a Big Night now, and you know, like these guys are doing a podcast, and that's like you just see like the growth with everybody. It's really fun.
Yeah, for sure. It sucks getting old, but with getting older, you learn that you do have to kind of put some things aside. When you're 24, 25, 26, you're just like, no, screw this person. I'm better than you. And now it's just like, no. I need you around. I'm really sorry.
I actually need your help.
I actually need your help.
About this show.
You can't quit certain people anyway.
No.
I mean, our first partnership with Stub Stories is Live Nation. And that's because all our friends are working there, and they're like, hey, we love what you're doing. Can we do this, this, and this? Can we do some giveaways? Can we do this? and it makes sense for them for their marketing plans. And I'm like, great that you put so much trust in this thing that we're trying to do organically.
Yeah.
We're doing this for fun. I guess now we have to pretend like we're a business.
Now you have to do it professionally.
Like, God, now we have to do emails and all these things.
Capital.
Yeah.
And I'll go jack to that. Well, I mean, do you have any more questions?
I have one question.
You can have five.
I have 5 questions. No, so I was listening to the final Banter podcast, and you said that was it.
Yeah.
Is it really it, or
Yeah.
will you bring it back?
So I think it's it for me for a couple reasons. So when the Celtics lost Game 7 last year against the Heat, like, pretty immature decision on my end. I went home very upset and drunk and recorded a podcast.
Nice.
It happens.
It happens. And I ended it. I was like, I'm done, because I was doing, so I usually did it every Monday.
Okay.
Release it at 8 a.m. so I could get the commuters to listen.
Yep.
And then after, I decided, it would be really cool to do it after every single playoff game. Not great, Bob. Terrible decision to have to go to a game and then go home, edit it. Next thing you know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and oh crap, I have an on sale at 9 a.m.
Yep.
Like, not ideal. So it really like burned me out. So this year I didn't record a single podcast, and some random person messaged me from Australia.
Wow.
And was like, hey, I really miss your podcast. Would you think about doing it for the playoffs? And I was like, I'm not doing after every game. So this year I decided to do one episode before each round, and I called it a therapy session.
I liked
Oh,
the
I
way
like
you.
that.
I was confused as to why you did it. That way.
So I think you probably both know this following me on social media. I am a very outspoken person about men's mental health.
Yeah.
Yes.
I tried to commit suicide 5 years ago.
Okay.
And ever since, I go to therapy every single week. It saved my life. Everyone, male, female, whatever you are,
Yeah.
everyone needs therapy.
I have
It's-
therapy today.
Yeah, I have it every Wednesday, and I'm a big advocate for it. So I thought it would be funny to kind of make each playoff episode this year like a therapy session, because I want Banner 18 like so bad. So
Love
that's
it.
why I kind of, yes, I talked about, the matchups and the shooting percentage, but at the end of each episode, I kind of just let my heart out to it.
My other note was at the end when you were like winning for, and you just started listing off people who work in the garden, like all these like not
Because
random people, but
I'm not I'm not the only Celtics fan. I know how much it means. Like, my dad had season tickets from 1970 until 2000 when he passed away at a very young age. And it's just like, I love the Celtics more than anything in the world. But I also know that person right outside right there may love the Celtics more than me.
Yeah.
So it's just not for me. It's for, you.
Yeah.
It's, wearing a Celtics shirt right now. So, yeah, that's why I started naming off the people that just kind
it
of
was
came to
awesome.
mind.
I was so happy because at first I was like, okay, like you'll probably list like Horford, Deuce, like you know
No,
what I mean? You started
because-
listing like the
Because working in the content industry, like, so many people are just like, oh, the fees.
Yeah.
Why are the fees so expensive? I'm like, the fees pay the bills to make people market it, produce it, sell the tickets. And like, there's so many, and I can't even imagine what it's like for a sporting organization and all the amount of employees that they have compared to like a concert venue. So I know how much goes into it. So I want those people that may be behind the scenes that you never see to have a big fat ass ring,
how it,
on their hand. And that's kind of like what it was. So I don't think I'm gonna ever do the podcasting again, because if they win, I'll be so happy. What's a podcast? And if they lose,
feel you.
I don't even think I'd want to talk about them ever again. I'll become like a Detroit Pistons fan or something. No, so yeah. But it was a good kind of distraction to talk about something you love that people can actually understand, versus talking about the concert industry that people are going to be like 5 seconds in. Nope, I don't get any of that.
Yeah.
nice. Well, I enjoyed the final episode.
Thank you. I appreciate you listening.
That's great. Well, look at that. We are on time. Look at this.
In our final episode of the season for us
Yeah,
at Stub
we left the best for last.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me on. This is really cool.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess we're going to wrap it up, and listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Sylvia.
I'm Ricky. Make sure you guys follow the socials at Stub Stories. And on TikTok, it's at Stub Stories Pod because,
Because you messed it up.
I messed it up and I think I made 2.
TikTok, if you're listening,
What? TikTok, fix it.
Please.
Don't we know people
Fix it
there?
in
No.
watch us on YouTube. Big Night Studios here. This is a great place to do
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah, it'll probably make it easier for me to edit.
Yeah, and you can rent it out.
It's gonna be like
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can rent this studio out. If you have a podcast, you can. Hurley, can you tell me what the website is off the top of your head? Is it Big Night Studios?
Big Night Media.
BigNightMedia.com. Go there. You can rent out the studio.
Yeah.
And
If
it's a great place.
If we can be here, you can be here. Please
Absolutely.
rent out this place. This is amazing. And everybody here has just been so accommodating. And thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks again.
Go Celtics.
All right. Stubstories.net. Hi, this is Sylvia.
And I'm Ricky, and we are Stub Stories.
Please follow us everywhere you listen to podcasts.
You can find us on every social media channel. Make sure you're following our YouTube, like, subscribe.
And check out our website, stubstories.net. That's it. Thank you.